It's smarter to be on SportsGrid. You studied the stats. You had the perfect bracket until your upsets turned into regrets. SportsGrid rides the highs and lows of every buzzer beater, bracket buster, and Cinderella story.
The Big Ten Freshman of the Year!
Our team brings you sharp insights, real-time reactions, and all the madness. Only on SportsGrid.
If you look at how the men and women did it, the men, the portal opened up the day after the round of 32. Same thing with the women. Men on Monday, women on Tuesday. Why can't they just do the day after the national championship game when the season ends, next season begins, then you open up the portal. All teams have completed play. All bets are off.
Betting above the rim. Only on SportsGrid.
And welcome in. A very happy Friday to you. It is Game Time Decisions here on the SportsGrid Network. I'm Joe Raineri, and we are getting ready for more madness here. What a weekend we have in store. The Final Four on the men's side will take center stage tomorrow as the all-SEC side of the bracket, Auburn and Florida, will do battle for a right to play for a national championship. And then the second game tomorrow will have Houston taking on the Duke Blue Devils on that side of the bracket. The winners, well, they'll play for that national championship, but we won't have to wait that long for the women's side as we got some Final Four action of our own on that bracket as well. The women will take center stage here tonight as the Texas Longhorns taking on South Carolina here, and everyone's favorite UConn Huskies. UConn taking on UCLA as UConn seems to be the overwhelming favorite, I believe, from folks that I've talked to. Believe that this is UConn's year to once again be a national champion with Paige Beckers and company. What a team, what a season. We've got the coach, James Young, coming up here in just about 8 or 9 minutes. He'll have all the information you guys need to make it a profitable evening there in the Final Four on the women's side. We'll talk the men's side tomorrow as college basketball not done just yet, but we got much going on the diamond here today as we get ready, of course, for another weekend filled with Major League Baseball. And after having just 5 games to pick from yesterday, well, we got 14 games on the schedule here today. We've already had a few day games already in the books. We watched Flaherty and the Detroit Tigers get their home opener with a W as they took down the Chicago White Sox earlier today, 7-4. We saw Boston get back to Fenway and handle business against the Cardinals. They opened up their Fenway season here, a 13-9 win. Walker Buehler started that game for Boston. Neither starting pitcher was any good in that game there. And the Mets at Citi Field just wrapped up their game, a 5-0 win over Kevin Gausman and the Toronto Blue Jays. Couple of games underway, though, here, as you have the Athletics I don't even know what Sacramento Athletic, just the Athletic. Let's just call them the A's. They are in Colorado and it's snowing. How much fun is that? And the Athletics, well, they're winning 3-2 currently right now in that one, top of the seventh. The Yankees sent out their pseudo number one pitcher now. No, obviously no Cole, but Max Fried will do just as well. 7-1 over Pittsburgh there as Yankees are playing spoiler for the Pittsburgh Pirate fans there in the opening game at home for those Pirates. And 4-3 right now, San Francisco on top of Seattle in that game. And then we've got still much more to come up here tonight. You got Baltimore, Kansas City, Tampa Bay, and Texas, not to mention Cleveland and the LA Angels in what is shockingly going to be a pretty good pitching battle here tonight. I think Williams taking on Soriano. The LA Angels, of course, surprising a lot of folks with how many games they've been able to be competitive and win already, but enjoy it while you can, because as long as Mike Trout is still healthy in the lineup, you might as well score a few runs and get a few wins, because we all know that probably won't last forever. Also, you're going to have the Dodgers and Philly get going here and about 40 minutes from now in Philadelphia. Yamamoto on the hill for the Dodgers. Luzardo, former Miami Marlin, on the mound there for the Phillies. And that's going to be an interesting, maybe a precursor to some future National League playoff series coming up there with the Phils very much in play for a National League East title there. And of course, the Dodgers at this point, is anybody going to beat them? It seems to be the big question here. And is anybody going to beat them 4 out of 7 in a series? That remains to be seen. But we'll have that game coming up this hour, as well as Arizona, Washington, Miami, and Atlanta. A lot of folks thinking that Schwellenbach will be the guy here to be able to get Atlanta off the schneid. We'll see. They are playing the Miami Marlins in Atlanta, and Cincinnati and Milwaukee will round it out. So plenty of Major League Baseball. Not a whole lot going on the ice here tonight, just a handful of games. Carolina and the Red Wings are going to do battle here at the top of next hour. You got the Blackhawks taking on Washington. Everybody is tuning in for the Ovechkin goal possibilities there of setting the record and surpassing the great one, Wayne Gretzky. A lot of eyes on that game, especially given the fact that they're a $4 favorite, the Washington Capitals are tonight. And the Minnesota Wild taking on the New York Islanders, as the Islanders are clinging and hoping for enough wins here to be considered playoff eligible, but it would help if they can get one done here tonight. So just 3 games on the ice, plenty of Major League Baseball. And, oh, yeah, we got a loaded NBA slate. We've got just about 5 or 6 games left for teams. Some interesting games tonight that I'm actually looking forward to. And one of them is not Sacramento and Charlotte. So we'll just get that out of the way right now. Also, Utah, Indiana. No interest in watching Indiana lay 17 points in a game against another NBA team, but that's kind of what we're faced at. I'm looking down the board a little bit more. I'm looking at this Oklahoma City and Houston game coming up just after 8 p.m. Eastern time tonight in Houston. This could very well be a future look into a possible playoff series in the Western Conference here. The money, believe it or not, all on Houston here over the last couple of hours. This thing ballooned up to about Oklahoma City laying 7.5. I'm seeing back down to 5.5 here as Houston looking to stand ground at home against the Oklahoma City Thunder tonight. How about Denver? Has a couple of days off because they played absolutely nobody the other night after that double overtime loss to the Minnesota Timberwolves. But they'll have all their starters ready to go tonight. The Golden State Warriors handled business on the road against LA last night. Second of a back-to-back tonight. Questionable is Jimmy Butler. So we had seen the Golden State Warriors open as a small 1.5 point favorite, but once we got Jimmy Butler a questionable tag, it looks like the market is about facing and looking at Denver to be a small road favorite. You got New Orleans and the Lakers. Again, Lakers lost last night to Golden State. Will they bounce back here against New Orleans? They're home. And the Clippers also at home here tonight. They have got nothing but love in the marketplace here as they opened up as a 6.5-point favorite over Anthony Davis and the Dallas Mavericks. But I'm seeing 10.5s now. So the money, it's been all LA Clippers in the market thus far. So there you got it. We got a little something for everybody here, not just tonight, but over the weekend here. And it's all about Final Four college basketball, whether it be the men tomorrow or it be the women tonight. We got a lot to break down here as college basketball. We're that much closer to crowning a national champion for both the men and the women. And coming up, we've got the coach, JY, James Young. We're going to go over all of it with him as Game Time Decisions continues here on the Grid.
Here's a tip for my fellow golfers and gamers. Do you want to book a golf trip to Vegas? For the best weather, aim for spring and fall. But the best prices, aim for summer and winter. But if you're looking for that sweet spot, try June. You get the August prices without that scorching heat. See you in Las Vegas. Let's get lucky.
The two guys that can do it all.
Too much electricity this morning.
This is a good time. We're having a lot of fun.
I had to do a triple take. Ka-ching!
Why? Because of parity.
I didn't mean to offend.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Load management is a dirty word.
Let him rip.
You know what? Circumstances provide the results. What? How do you do this once? Oh, Donnie, you got such a good show there.
A network that is booming.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
These guys are barreling everything right now that are hitting well. Pitching is usually ahead of hitting this time of year, but torpedo bats is what we're reading about, Tom, and I think it's hilarious.
Will the pitching be out in front, or are the bats actually this strong? So it's going to develop over the course of weeks. And again, if all teams have the ability to do so, be creative with it and get out there and use it.
Game Time Decisions, only on SportsGrid. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
All right, welcome back in Game Time Decisions here on this Friday in the SportsGrid Network as we've got, well, a lot going on the hardwood here over the next couple of days, whether it be the NBA, the Final Four on the men's side tomorrow or tonight, in fact, where we're looking to see whether or not South Carolina can continue its quest to win a third national championship in 4 years. The women's Final Four taking center stage here. And we've got our main man, the coach, James Young, in the house. He's ready for some Final Four action. And we don't have to wait till tomorrow, although we'll get to those games coming up, Coach. But I am very intrigued here with the Final Four on the women's side. You've got the heavyweights of South Carolina recently, pure dominance, UConn, one of the all-time greatest programs, UCLA, with what an amazing season it's been for them. And now you got Texas trying to prove that they belong in the same category as those names. So let's start with South Carolina, Coach. I see a lot of people taking the points with Texas here. What do you think we're going to get in this game?
Well, Joe, good to be on with you as always. Listen, they've played twice already. Obviously, 68-62 when South Carolina lost to Texas at Austin. But rematch, 64-45. So to me, 1-1, who's the better team? To me, it's South Carolina. South Carolina's got more depth. They're better in the front court. They have better coaching. No offense to Vic Schaefer, who's one of the best coaches for a long, long time. But Dawn Staley may be the cream of the crop. I look at this game and I look at the fact that when they won by 20, you had some players not play well. But I think Edwards and Fulwiley and Papao and Johnson and Kitts, it's just too much. I'm going to lay the points. It was 4.5. It's moved to 5.5. That means the money's going towards South Carolina. I'm going to lay the points. I think they win by 8+ points tonight.
Talk to me on the, I mean, these two teams haven't been great offensively, but Coach, two teams that can bring it defensively here. What lower total? I think I saw 126 at the open, 124 now. Is this the first one to 60 wins?
It may be. If you look at it, the first game went to 130. The game during the SEC tournament went to, I think, 109, right? So I think you're going to have a defensive battle, half-court battle. But when you look for star power, who do you look to? Look to Malaysia Fulwiley. And listen, we got to the point now, Joe, in the Final Four, we're starting to see more and more player props. And I don't know if Vegas does as good of a job of being as sharp as they do in regards to. So, for instance, if you look at Malaysia Fulwiley, over 12.5 points. Now, she went 2 of 10 in a 64-45 win. But, Joe, when she gets 20+ minutes, she has 11.8 points a game. When she gets 20+ minutes, she's gone over this 14 out of 18. And she's a weird one to deal with because she comes off the bench. She's better than Papao. She's better than Johnson. Malaysia Fulwiley over 12.5 points tonight.
Interesting. That's the first game, Coach, in the Final Four, 7 o'clock Eastern time in Tampa. The game that's coming up after that, the Bruins. What a season they've had, right, Coach? 34-2 on the year. Defensive Player of the Year, Lauren Betts. And therefore, having all of that success, they have to take on, the number 2 seed, UConn, with Paige Becker. Almost doesn't seem fair here, Coach, but you know what? UCLA will have a chance to beat the best. Do you think they will here in this spot?
UCLA's not beating them. Joe, I've been on UConn for 2 months, and Paige is Paige, the freshman year Paige. The Paige Beckers that no one was talking about Caitlin Clark back then when she brought UConn to the national championship game. I think they lost to Stanford, if I'm not mistaken. She's gone over the injuries, but it's more than that. It's AZ Fudd, right? And her ascension coming back from the ASL turf last year. It's Chen, the transfer from Princeton. It's Sarah Strong, the best freshman in the country. Oh, yeah, and there's a coach that's won more national championships than anybody else, and Gino Oriema. They've been dominant the last month or so. And no better point is when they beat South Carolina by 30 to end South Carolina's home winning streak. I think UConn covers this game. I wouldn't mind it if you waited because UConn has started slow at times in the tournament, and then they just turn on the afterburners some point late second quarter, early third quarter. I did that versus Oklahoma. They were big favorites. They were down 3. I jumped on a -7. They won by 30. So at any point, they're going to go off. Too many weapons, Joe. I'm going to lay the points with the Huskies -7.5.
Yeah, and it's interesting, Coach, because it did open 8.5. We have seen the UCLA love thinking maybe this is a little bit closer than some expect, but the total also is interesting. 135.5 down to 134.5 here. Is there any correlation with UConn winning in the over? And if UCLA wins, is it the under? Or do you just think this game has a chance to fly over this total?
Well, I don't think UCLA can't get into a track meet with them. They can't because you think about Lauren Betts, they're going to want to slow it up, get the ball inside, let her go over her left shoulder. For those that haven't watched Lauren Betts, I would say she's like the female Zach Edey, right? Deep post position, give her the ball over the left shoulder, jump puck, game over. I think you're going to have a hard time getting her the ball. And then if I'm Gino, I'm doubling. So to me, when you look at, let's say, the most outstanding player, how do you play Paige Beckers tonight? Here's what you do. Don't go to the points. She's at 30, she's at 40. Corey Close, Naismith, Coach of the Year. Although I think it should have went to Mark Campbell of TCU. She's made it clear. She ain't going to let Paige beat her and get 30, 40 points. So what does that lead to? Paige over 4.5 assists over 7 out of her last 12 games. 2 of them she missed by the hook. If Corey Close makes someone else beat them, UConn's got other girls that can do it. Paige Becker's over 4.5 assists tonight.
Paige Becker is also the most outstanding player, Coach, in your book when it's all said and done?
She is, but to me, Sarah Strong's such a dynamic scorer. It's only about a 10-cent difference. Might as well just take UConn to win a national championship over her over MOP.
There you go. And the best part about Strong and Flood is that they've already agreed. I guess they've already said they're coming back. So UConn back to its dominance is what it appears there, Coach. We'll talk the men's side when Game Time Decisions continues on the grid.
Here's a tip for my fellow golfers and gamers. Do you want to book a golf trip to Vegas? For the best weather, aim for spring and fall. But the best prices, aim for summer and winter. But if you're looking for that sweet spot, try June. You get the August prices without that scorching heat. See you in Las Vegas. Let's get lucky.
The 2 guys that can do it all.
Too much electricity this morning.
This is a good time. We're having a lot of fun.
I had to do a triple take. Ka-ching!
Why? Because of parity.
I didn't mean to offend.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Load management is a dirty word.
Let him rip.
You know what? Circumstances provide the results. What? How do you do this one? Oh, Donnie, you got such a good show there.
A network that is booming.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
These guys are barreling everything right now that are hitting well. Pitching is usually ahead of hitting this time of year, but torpedo bats is what we're reading about, Tom, and I think it's hilarious.
Will the pitching be out in front, or are the bats actually this strong? So it's going to develop over the course of weeks. And again, if all teams have the ability to do so, be creative with it and get out there and use it.
Game Time Decisions, only on SportsGrid. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
All right, welcome back in Game Time Decisions here on the SportsGrid Network. Joe Raineri alongside the coach, James Young, in the house, getting ready for Final Four basketball tonight. On the women's side, tomorrow, the men's side takes center stage there, Coach. First game up on that side of the bracket is going to be an all-SEC affair once again as Auburn and Florida get ready to do battle. 2.5 here, Coach. Florida's the favorite. I mean, that's a huge swing considering that Florida was a 10.5-point underdog when they beat them in Auburn a couple of months back. But here we are. They're laying 2.5 now. What are you thinking?
Joe, it's because Florida's been the best team in the SEC and arguably in the country the better part of the last 6 to 7 weeks. And they have that 90-81 win at Auburn. And to me, my concern that I've seen as of late of Auburn, including a game versus Michigan State, is when Janai Broom's out of the game, they suffer. Bruce Pearl gave a blow in the first half. It was 23-8. Here comes Michigan State, right? He goes out with those 2 injuries. We don't know if he's 100%, but really no one is at this point of the year. Here comes Michigan State. I just think Florida's got more offensive balance. They have different ways they can hit you and beat you. That's why I actually like Florida on the money line. And if you give me a prop, I'm going to go with the big man, Thomas Howell, to go to hit 1-3. Now it's moved. It's moved a lot. It's minus 186. I got it earlier minus 152. So you may have to look at him at 2+ made threes at plus 280. Now he's made at least 1 3-pointer in 7 out of the last 10 games. He got 4 attempts up, and he's getting more attempts up as he get later in the season. I think this is a key guy because Condon has been injured. Remember, he hurt his ankle in the Sweet 16 game. Maybe see if that Thomas Howell number comes down. I don't think it does. If it doesn't, maybe look at Thomas Howell. 2+ made threes at major plus money at plus 280.
And the total opened up, Coach, 162.5, and it's come down 159.5. I do think it's going to go back up, but Florida has been kind of an over machine here. Are you thinking this thing flies over, or do you think we're going to get a little more defense with these 2 teams?
I think we sweat, but we get over. It was 171, earlier, and I'm hoping that it comes down a little bit more so I can go over it. The reason why people are going to this route is people are looking at the fact that it's at a football stadium, right? And that's where everybody's freaking out. But people got to realize when you go to the Final Four, Joe, you get at least 2, if not 3 days of practice at the facility. So you're getting used to the backdrop and the depth perception. I think Florida, it's got a better chance of going under if Auburn covers, right? Or Auburn wins, because Auburn's got to slow the game down, particularly Janai Broom. I personally think the deeper team is Florida with their 3 bigs, with their abundance of guards. That's why I think it's probably going to go over, because I think Florida's going to end up winning the game.
Yeah, well, if you like the over in Florida, are we sweating out an over in Houston and Duke, or is this an under all way?
Under all day, twice on Saturday. Listen, if you think about it, you have 2 of the best defensive teams, right, in regards to the metrics of adjusted defensive efficiency. You have the slowest team offensively in Houston versus one of the slowest teams defensively in Duke. Neither team presses, so there won't be a lot of break the press, get half court, go score. It's going to be half court, close to the best basketball. How this game goes over is if the damn refs get in the way. That's how it goes over. Foul trouble. And that's something you may have to watch early on, particularly if you watch the big matchup to me, which is Juwan Roberts versus Cooper Flagg. Do they let Juwan Roberts, a jump yard dog, get physical? I think they do. I like to take the points. I like the game to go under. And the guy I've been writing of it saying has been the biggest key to this team is Emmanuel Sharp. It has moved big time since this morning, about 50 cents. Emmanuel Sharp, 3+ made threes at plus 120. He is the shot taker. He is the shot maker. Not scared of the moment. He doesn't drive to the basket. Cryer, Uzon, they drive it. They kick it. 3+ made threes for Emmanuel Sharp. They get the win as well.
Love the prop market there in those games tomorrow. And heck, we still got a ton of basketball to talk about here, Coach, not just in the college ranks, but we got a full slate of NBA action here tonight. We'll start breaking those games down as Game Time Decisions continues on the grid.
Here's Here's a tip for my fellow golfers and gamers. Do you want to book a golf trip to Vegas? For the best weather, aim for spring and fall. But the best prices, aim for summer and winter. But if you're looking for that sweet spot, try June. You get the August prices without that scorching heat. See you in Las Vegas. Let's get lucky.
The two guys that can do it all.
Too much electricity this morning.
This is a good time. We're having a lot of fun.
I had to do a triple take. Ka-ching!
Why? Because of parity.
I didn't mean to offend.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Load management is a dirty word.
Let him rip.
You know what? Circumstances provide the results. What? How do you do this one? Oh, Donnie, you got such a good show there.
A network that is booming.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
These guys are barreling everything right now that are hitting well. Pitching is usually ahead of hitting this time of year, but torpedo bats is what we're reading about, Tom, and I think it's hilarious.
Will the pitching be out in front, or are the bats actually this strong? So it's going to develop over the course of weeks. And again, if all teams have the ability to do so, be creative with it and get out there and use it.
Game Time Decisions, only on SportsGrid. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
All right, welcome back in Game Time Decisions on the SportsGrid Network. I'm Joe Raineri, joined again by our good friend, the coach, James Young, talking some hardwood action here. We went through the college Final Four, both with the men's and the women's side, but we still got about 6 games left here, Coach, in the regular season of the NBA. Some teams still trying to work their way into the play-in and, of course, want to play some extra basketball. Other teams, well, let's face it, we already know the ping pong ball situation. So loaded slate tonight. Let's run through a couple of them. We'll start with Sacramento, Charlotte. We just saw Sabonis has been ruled in. This number went from 10.5 now. Looks like 11.5, maybe even 12 at some point here, Coach. Charlotte, well, you can't trust Charlotte, but do you trust Sacramento to cover this number here on the road?
I do. Listen, they're 2-2 against spread their last 4. Listen, they beat them by 32 points about 6 weeks ago. The Hornets are going nowhere. I mean, LaMelo's out, Josh Green is out, Trey Mann is out, Brandon Miller is out, Grant Williams is out, Alonzo Mourning's out, Larry Johnson's out. They're all out. I think Steve Clifford is coaching a game tonight. I'm going to lay the points 10.5, 11.5. Kings are actually playing for something, whereas you have a team in Charlotte just playing out the string.
We've got, again, Indiana laying 17 is interesting. Granted, they're playing Utah, which is pretty much a G League team at this point. But Indiana, I mean, some of these numbers, Coach, my goodness here. Do we trust Indiana to win by 17 or more points here?
No, this is one where it's just so high. Like, this is like 6 points higher than the Hornets game. This is wild. This is one that you honestly hope that Utah hangs around and makes it a contest at halftime, maybe get it at halftime 9 at like 10.5 and then jump in because Indiana's explosive offensively. And that's the crazy part, Joe, is you get to this point of the season and it's kind of wild. So when I went diving, I tried to find matchups where I feel you had a team really playing for something. And one team's playing for something out of all teams is Chicago. They're playing much better. They're 7-2-1 against the spread their last 10 games, right? They're playing a team in Portland that Avila is out. Jeremy Grant is doubtful. Scoot Henderson is out. Simons is questionable. Robert Williams, I don't even know if he even plays basketball anymore, right? And the Blazers are on the second leg of a back-to-back and have to travel to Chicago, right? All advantages here for the Bulls. I'm going to lay the 6 and take Chicago against Portland.
I like it, Coach. And listen, Phoenix is up against it. They still have no Durant. They are in Boston. And it looks like Bradley Beal's a go. Pretty much they've got the other parts except for Kevin Durant. Boston lost last time, a couple nights ago, there against Miami at home. It looks like to me, Holiday's back in, Horford's in, Porzingis is in. The only question is Jaylen Brown. So if you give me the full complement, I still can't trust laying 14.5 with this team at home. It's been burning money.
No, I think you kind of look at a team that's going to start to really get themselves ready for the playoffs, especially after scoring 103 against Miami. Maybe just go team total over for Boston and just stay away from everything else. If you want to lay the points in the first half, then do so. And for Bradley Beal, please stop telling people that you guys are going to make a run. I mean, Kevin Durant's got 1 foot out the door. Matt Ishbia is about to become the basketball version of George Steinbrenner in the 80s. He's about to fire Budenholzer and have 4 coaches in 4 years. It's done. It's over. Even Devin Booker looks disinterested. I'm not laying the points. Maybe go Boston. If you want to go Boston first quarter or first half, or just take the team total over. 14 points, way too much.
Yeah, and I took their team total over in the first half, Boston, 59.5 this morning, Coach. I think they're going to be bombing away here and put them out of their misery early. Oklahoma City and Houston is fascinating to me as it ballooned early with Oklahoma City, but there's been a lot of Houston money buying back. I'm seeing 5.5 and 6s again in the marketplace. Houston at home here, Coach. What do you think? Can they go toe-to-toe with OKC?
Well, listen, this is a stay away game for me because Oklahoma City is just when you expect them to start to peel back and ready for the playoffs, they just keep pedal to the metal. Especially with the fact that finally getting Hartenstein and obviously Chet back together, they want to kind of get themselves going in the right direction here. So to me, this is a stay away game for me. But if there's a game, it's a tight game. You mentioned Jimmy Butler. To me, it's Golden State, Denver. Denver's got the rest advantage, right? The Warriors second leg of a back-to-back. Just had a huge game with the Lakers last night. They have to travel because of the rest advantage for Denver and the play Nikola Jokic is taken. I'm going to go on the money line. That leads me really quick to my props. 3 props tonight. Now, let me get to them really quick for you, Joe. Joker, over 48 PRA. I mean, he only got to 81 last game, so I think this is within reach. Over 41 and 65 games this year. Over the last 3 times versus the Warriors, Joker over 48.5 PRA. Now, because of the Laker game, right, they play versus the Pelicans. How much does LeBron play? How much does Luka play? Uptick in maybe point guard responsibilities for Austin Reeves. Plus money earlier, now minus money. Austin Reeves over 4.5 assists. And then lastly, Klay Thompson over 12.5 points, over 3 straight. Big game, Joe. Really big game versus the Clippers tonight. Over 5 out of 6 versus the Clippers. And over both times this year versus the Clippers. Go Klay Thompson over 12.5 points.
This Clippers team looks night and day with a healthy Kawhi Leonard, doesn't it, Coach? They look actually.
You know what? It's amazing. It's amazing how great they've looked with Kawhi. But that's the big problem, Joe. Like, we got to trust Kawhi. Like that is the issue that you're always going to have is at what point does Kawhi flake out? Listen, they've been really good. I mean, James Harden, been fantastic. Tyronn Lue, we and I have talked about it for years. This guy is arguably one of the 5 best coaches in the NBA, maybe one of the 3 best coaches in the NBA. So what he's done year in and year out has been tremendous. I just can't get behind Kawhi because at some point he's going to do something that's going to flake us all out and he's going to be done and all this stuff like that. I can't get behind them. I still think there's a wild chance that they actually may miss the playoffs. I think right now they're in the play-in if I'm not mistaken.
Wow. All right. So then tell me what you think about this turnaround with Golden State and Jimmy Butler. Are they contenders or pretenders here, Coach?
Well, here's the thing about the West, Joe, is styles make fights. Who are they going to be matched up with? I think if you line up all the teams in the West, right? The one team you don't want to play is Oklahoma City first round. Second team you don't want to play, I wouldn't want to play Denver. I wouldn't want to play Denver. I don't want that 6th seed right now. I don't. And that's right now Memphis or Minnesota. Minnesota Mets are better with Memphis, but Memphis is such a hot mess. You got coaches getting fired. You don't know who's playing. You got Ja getting fined for pointing guns. Oh my God, what are we doing? Ja, put the gun away, please. And watch this. Watch him get traded by Memphis in the offseason. I said it first.
Yeah. You did, Coach, and we're gonna clip that and remind you once it happens. They are outstanding stuff, Coach. Enjoy the night, enjoy the games. We'll see much more from you as Game Time Decisions continues on the grid.
Enter into the magical world of McLuck.com, where even the smallest of spins can win real cash prizes. Adventure into over 1,000 of the best Vegas-style slot games. So what are you waiting for? Unlock your free welcome offer today. Join the fun where winners play and players win.
Two guys that can do it all.
Too much electricity this morning.
This is a good time. We're having a lot of fun.
I had to do a triple take. Ka-ching!
Why? Because of parity.
I didn't mean to offend.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Load management is a dirty word.
Let him rip.
You know what? Circumstances provide the results. What? How do you do this once? Oh, Donnie, you got such a good show there.
A network that is booming.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
Anyone that's been to a sporting event, the atmosphere before a game, I think Game Time Decisions has that same exact atmosphere. This is our arena. This is what we do. There is going to be an energy to Game Time Decisions that you will feel night in and night out. The excitement you get when you lock your bets in, when you're figuring out what you want to do, we can zone in on the biggest games each night. I want this to be the place that people come to before the games start so they feel as ready as possible to lock in their cards. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions to get that new information, react to it, and be able to then bet accordingly. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
Did you know sportsbooks tend to draw up tighter bet lines for events that get even more bettors, like championship games or major matchups? My tip, try betting on less popular sports. You might have a better shot at beating those odds. Now, go get lucky. See you in Las Vegas. Let's get lucky.
All right, welcome back in here. Game Time Decisions on this Friday. We thank you for hanging with us here as we've got plenty going on and getting ready for a big night in the NBA. Not to mention, of course, Major League Baseball underway. Aaron Judge, we just watched, hit another home run here. It's 9-1 Yankees over the Pittsburgh Pirates. I think it's probably safe to say Yankees doing enough to get a win there and spoil the Pirates' homecoming in their first game in their stadium. But much more still to come on the diamond here tonight. Let's bring in our good friend George Kurtz, who no doubts saw that home run from Aaron Judge, and I saw something flash on the broadcast about first player ever in Major League Baseball history. And anytime you see that, you're like, really? There's been a lot of baseball history, Kurtz, and Judge, I think, first one with 7 home runs and 16 RBIs in 7 games or some ridiculous number. So much for it being too chalky, him being the MVP again this year, I guess.
Yeah, I thought it might be a little bit too chalky as well here. If he stays healthy, it's hard to see how he doesn't hit 60-plus home runs again. I mean, think about it. He had 58 last year with Juan Soto batting in front of him, and he took April off. He was horrific in April. Yankee fans were booing him in April. Here now he's got 6 home runs, 16 RBI. He's stealing a couple of bases too, right? Maybe he's trying to be Shohei Ohtani in some ways here. So yeah, Judge is off to a great start here. Yankees once again beating up well, let's face it, a pretty bad Pittsburgh team. Hell, the Pittsburgh fans, Joe, they were chanting "sell the team" in their home opener after the first inning.
It could be worse. At least it's not snowing in Pittsburgh like it is in Colorado right now. 3-3 in the top of the 9th in that one. We do have a game getting ready to start, though. Let's talk about this Arizona team that almost swept the Yankees, but couldn't get it done last night. Just too early for Merrill Kelly. He gave up there, but 9-7 was the final in that game, and now they take on Washington. Irvin on the mound against Brendan Fox. So what gives in this one? Feels like an over, smells like an over. What do you think we're going to get?
I think we're going to be very careful here in the Northeast. This really the rest of tonight and the weekend. By the way, 3-run home run by, I think it's Cabrian Hayes, and it's 9-4 now. Yankees lead Pittsburgh. So the weather here is not going to be good. All right, then. I know they're worried about Pittsburgh getting in the next 2 games against the Yankees here, and that's really going to travel up and down the Northeast here. So Philadelphia or Washington, be very careful with these games, especially more props. Because I'm going to be worried about the starting pitchers. You know, hey, if we get a rain delay at the 3 innings, that starting pitcher's not coming back out. I lose my my K prop bet. So I'm going to be very careful this weekend here. That being said, I kind of agree with you with the over. All right, it's not a number I'm thrilled about, but I'm not afraid of it either here. Washington's always tricky. Are they going to hit? Are they not going to hit here? Dylan Cruz, I don't think he hasn't hit yet this season. So that's somewhat concerning here. So I'm sort of with you here. We'll take the over 8.5. Small play, nothing drastic here. Small play on the Arizona Diamondbacks and the over.
Yeah, they already they've gotten to Irvin here, I believe. They got a couple of Marte hurt himself running around the bases. So that's another thing you got to worry about in this kind of weather, too. Yeah, got to be careful. You get those muscles that aren't quite warm just yet. So pulling up a little bit lame, it feels like. Let's just hope it's a cramp, and we'll go with that there. Also coming up here, I believe, the Apple TV game of the night, which is going to annoy a lot of people. How about the Dodgers and the Phillies getting ready to do battle here? 2 of the best in the National League. What do you think we're getting with this one?
You know, generally, I like playing streaks, right? Because I can only be wrong once. So I generally keep doing that here. I mean, Dodgers, Philly should be a good game. No Max Muncy, no Freddie Freeman either. Muncy's lefty on the mound, so he's being given the night off here. No Freddie Freeman here. They put him on the IL for that. I mean, I want to put the air quotes in the shower slip. I'm not so sure how much I buy this. Usually these kind of weird injuries are all BS here, but not that it matters. He ain't playing. So either way, he's gone. He's on the IL here. It's pretty incredible when you think about how well the Dodgers have played, and they haven't had Betts, Freeman, and Ohtani in the same lineup yet for a game this season. And it's just wild here. And obviously, it's going to be another couple of weeks where they do get that here. I'm still leaning towards with the Dodgers here. Like I said, I think Philadelphia is the second best team in baseball. So once again, it's another small bet here, but I'm going to keep going with the streak here. Hey, San Diego did lose earlier today, so maybe the Dodgers, maybe they'll lose too. They will lose both of our undefeated teams here. Give me the Dodgers, going to follow the streak. Yamamoto pitch as well.
So if you'd have told me that the Marlins would have 4 more wins than the Braves at this point in the season, I would have laughed at you here, Kurtz, but still looking for that first win, Atlanta. They get the Marlins tonight. Schwellenbach on the mound. What do you think we're going to get here? Walk off for the Marlins?
Nothing. I mean, boy, that was a brutal loss. You had a 5-0 lead and you blew it. No, Otani hits the game winner at the month. I mean, wow, just brutal here. So yeah, I mean, listen, I'm on the Braves here, but you're not laying 245. Schwellenbach's a really good pitcher, right? With a really long name that's hard to spell, but he's a really good pitcher here. So I like him tonight. I think he'll pitch well, but you're not laying with 245. So you're either putting this in a parlay or you're taking the run line here. The run line's not great either, right? Just went down to -110. It was -112 when I looked about a minute ago here. I'm on the run line. All right, if I can find a parlay shortly here before the game starts, I'll probably take that as well here. But the Braves will get their first win tonight.
Ooh, all right. So Baltimore in Kauffman Stadium taking on the Royals. Seth Lugo versus Kremer here tonight. What do you think? They've had a hard time scoring runs, Kansas City here. What do you think we're going to get tonight?
I was really hoping this would be an 8.5. I would have taken the under gladly here. Still took the under, smaller play. I'm taking under here. Seth Lugo, by the way, we don't give this guy enough love. He's a good pitcher. Maybe not an ace, but sort of like Schwellenbach. He's a good number 2 pitcher. Gunnar Henderson does come back tonight for the Baltimore Orioles. They get him back, the star shortstop here. I don't really have a great play for the game. Probably do lean more towards Baltimore, but not a great play here. But I do like the under.
Does Cincinnati score a run? Just tell me. Or is it 1-0? What are we going to get here against the Brewers?
There's a virus going through that clubhouse. Francona's out. There might be a couple of players out too here. Yeah. Yes, they score a run, but maybe not much more than that.
Well, we'll have to figure out, does Cincinnati score more runs than the Islanders get goals? We'll ask George Kurtz that when we get back here on Game Time Decisions.
Here's a tip for my fellow golfers and gamers. Do you want to book a golf trip to Vegas? For the best weather, aim for spring and fall. But the best prices, aim for summer and winter. But if you're looking for that sweet spot, try June. You get the August prices without that scorching heat. See you in Las Vegas. Let's get lucky.
The two guys that can do it all.
Too much electricity this morning.
This is a good time. We're having a lot of fun.
I had to do a triple take. Ka-ching!
Why? Because of parity.
I didn't mean to offend.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Load management is a dirty word.
Let him rip.
You know what? Circumstances provide the results. What? How do you do this one? Oh, Donnie, you got such a good show there.
A network that is booming.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
These guys are barreling everything right now that are hitting well. Pitching is usually ahead of hitting this time of year, but torpedo bats is what we're reading about, Tom, and I think it's hilarious.
Will the pitching be out in front, or are the bats actually this strong? So it's going to develop over the course of weeks. And again, if all teams have the ability to do so, be creative with it and get out there and use it.
Game Time Decisions, only on SportsGrid. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
All right, welcome back in here as we are getting ready for a Friday night loaded slate across the sports landscape here. George Kurtz hanging with us here as we look to wrap up this first hour together. And George, let's talk some NHL. Only 3 games here on the ice tonight, but all eyes will no doubt be on the Washington Capitals, who were a $4 favorite earlier today, taking on the Chicago Blackhawks. not because anybody thinks it's going to be a great game, but because Ovechkin is now just 3 goals shy of breaking Wayne Gretzky's all-time goal mark of 894. But we have seen the Blackhawks as this kind of underdog play spoiler a lot this year. I mean, between them and San Jose, just when you think it's safe to lay it, what do you think we're going to get here tonight?
Now, the Blackhawks, which way do you want to go here? They're 1-11-2, I think, in the last 14 games, so they're playing like crap. But they did take the Colorado Avalanche to a shootout. They lost. They took it to a shootout the other night. Granted, they also had a 2-0 lead. They choked. All right, so there is that. I don't think the Capitals, don't think care, right? They have nothing to play for other than Ovechkin. All right, I'm not laying 4-1. Maybe this is where you want to go with your cross-pollinated parlay here. All right, you can parlay them with a baseball game and a hockey game. You could do that. I can certainly see that. Is Ovechkin scoring tonight? Yeah. All right, I'm going to be on that. Do I think he scores 3 to break the record? No.
Oof.
Do I think he could get 2? Joe, they're going to feed him. Maybe you want to take a shot prop. That's another bet I place. I'll take a shot prop because they're going to feed him every puck. Every puck is going to go Ovechkin's way to get him as many shots on goal, a chance to at this record as really as humanly possible. I also wonder this. Will refs call more penalties or give Washington more power play because they want to see the record as well, and see that. So that's also in the back of my mind here. So I'm on Ovechkin shot prop and him to score at least 1 goal tonight. And I wouldn't shock if he gets 2.
Yeah, anytime goal I saw at -140, -145. Maybe first period over to 1.5 goals may not be a bad look in there. But speaking of goals, are we getting any from your Islanders here tonight, who could certainly use as many wins as humanly possible down a stretch here? Kurtz, what do you think we're going to get with them tonight?
Listen, the Islanders have been a train wreck this season, right? I mean, even bigger train wreck this week. All right, Roy calls out Duclair saying he was god-awful. The next day they have a meeting and Duclair leaves the team, saying he needs to I guess he needs to think things through or whatever it is. I guess you could never play for John Tortorella, who really rips everybody a new one every other day. So strange what's going on here. The Islanders season is done. All right, it's done. They don't have any talent here. Minnesota, they've been not playing well either. They're sort of trying to get through. They're going to make the playoffs, but they're trying to get through until players like Eriksson Ek and Kirill Kaprizov can come back for the playoffs and really, I guess, drive them, hopefully, as they're probably going to end up playing the Las Vegas Golden Knights in round 1. I guess there's a chance they could end up playing the Winnipeg Jets or Dallas Stars as well here. So that's what they're hoping for here. You're going to give me plus money. I know the Wild haven't played well. They're still playing better than the Islanders here. I'm going to go with the Minnesota Wild over the Islanders tonight. It's the plus money. The Islanders haven't won. They're not playing well. They haven't won. Maybe they respond to what happened with Warren Duclair. Maybe they don't. The season's over for the Islanders. It's not over for the Wild. Give me Minnesota.
I mean, Patrick was just laying into this team here, and it's like, my goodness, 6 straight losses in a row. Doesn't feel like things are going to get any better anytime soon with them, Kurtz. And what else do we got? I mean, Carolina and Detroit, I believe, is the other game here tonight. Puck dropping here in a couple of minutes. What do you think?
I like the over in this game. It's the first thing I think. Right? I'll take the over in Carolina and Detroit. It's 5.5. You're paying a pretty price, -120. No Svechnikov for the Carolina Hurricanes. He came out of last game. Now they say he won't play the next 4 games, so he's pretty much not playing until the playoffs. So as they rest him, so Carolina has some issues here. But Svechnikov's been pretty much a 0 now for a couple of months anyway. So I don't think that's really a huge loss for them. Taylor Hall has been hot of late. Maybe you want to go with him for an anytime goal. Might be something to look at here. Or Aho Jarvis, those are your superstars there at Carolina. So I like the Carolina Hurricanes to beat the Detroit tonight. I like the over in this contest as well. Kochekov's in net for the Canes. If that that makes you change your mind one way or the other there. I am not going to have this game in a parlay though. As much as I like the Canes, I don't like them that much.
You don't like them, you can't have them that much there. But it's going to be an interesting weekend in the NHL as well. Some big games coming up both tomorrow and Sunday, George. And again, we get another full weekend of Major League Baseball, which is always fun. I mean, the playoffs will be here before we know it in the chase for a Stanley Cup. So I can't wait for it. We appreciate the time as always there, George. More baseball news and an update coming up here on the Grid.
tip for my fellow golfers and gamers. Do you want to book a golf trip to Vegas? For the best weather, aim for spring and fall. But the best prices, aim for summer and winter. But if you're looking for that sweet spot, try June. You get the August prices without that scorching heat. See you in Las Vegas. Let's get lucky.
The two guys that can do it all.
Too much electricity this morning.
This is a good time. We're having a lot of fun.
I had to do a triple take. Ka-ching!
Why? Because of parity.
I didn't mean to offend.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Load management is a dirty word.
Let him rip.
You know what? Circumstances provide the results. What? How do you do this once? Oh, Donnie, you got such a good show there.
A network that is booming.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
These guys are barreling everything right now that are hitting well. Pitching is usually ahead of hitting this time of year, but torpedo bats is what we're reading about, Tom, and I think it's hilarious.
Will the pitching be out in front, or are the bats actually this strong? So it's going to develop over the course of weeks. And again, if all teams have the ability to do so, be creative with it and get out there and use it.
Game Time Decisions, only on SportsGrid. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
All right, welcome back in here. Game Time Decisions, often running hour number 2 together on this Friday. We certainly appreciate you stopping by here. I'm Joe Raineri, and we've got much going on here tonight. Full slate in the association getting ready to take center stage, and that will culminate with a couple of games out in L.A. late tonight. The Lakers looking to bounce back against New Orleans after Golden State kind of backhanded them last night. And you've got the Clippers, who, wow, a healthy Kawhi Leonard is a game changer apparently for them, taking on Dallas. Those will be your late games. But we also have a couple of Major League Baseball games that are underway right now. And I think the one a lot of eyes are going to be on features two of the best teams in the National League, considered by many, as the Dodgers on the road against the Phillies right now. Yamamoto taking on Luzardo, and it looks like Philadelphia has already got one on the board here, 1-0 over the Dodgers, as we welcome in our good friend Tom Vecchio. You got to love Major League Baseball back in action here, Tom, with another full weekend coming up. But tell me about this Philadelphia Dodgers game. Yamamoto Luzardo felt like it was going to be a pretty good pitcher's battle here, but it looks like Philly got to him early in this one. What do you think we were going to get here?
I thought we'd be in for at least a little bit of offense in one of these games, and I didn't think it was going to be this one. Like, I could see today's game ending 4-2, and then tomorrow's game, we're going to have a bunch of runs just because the offense is going to be there. So, I wouldn't be surprised to see some dramatic swings in today's game, tomorrow's game. And listen, if there's a market overreaction in terms of the total, I think we'd just be on the other side of that.
Yeah, that's not a bad look there. Arizona, by the way, and Washington, we're getting some runs in this one. Brendan Pfaadt versus Irvin. And to be completely honest with you, I thought both guys are gas cans at this point, and we were probably going to get some runs. 3-1, top of the second inning here, but I kind of like what I'm seeing from this Arizona team. Listen, I thought they were a little unfortunate last year. Carroll didn't get going until it felt like middle of this season. But I think Arizona's a sneaky team here this year. What did you think of this game coming into it tonight?
Well, coming into it, I'm on the Diamondbacks money line, so off to a 3-1, down 3-1 isn't great, but I'm on board with the Diamondbacks here. They have a really good pitching staff, adding Corbin Burns to it. They have the offense, and obviously their offense is like out and swinging to start the season. I think it's a team that can, like I'm maybe more interested in betting sometimes live, especially if they do fall down, or especially if the odds aren't amazing to start, just because they have that offense and they can manufacture runs. Like you said, Corbin Carroll didn't start last year super hot, but if he gets on base and the way Eugenio Suarez is hitting to start the year, Gurriel, Naylor, like they have power. Ketel Marte just got the extension. Like they have multiple options in that lineup that can steal bases and hit for power. They can score 8 runs before you know it.
We've got also coming up here this hour, a couple of games, just a few minutes there. Schwellenbach for Atlanta taking on the Marlins. They're going to win a game at some point here, but I'm so worried this team's going to get walked off again by Miami this time. What do you think we're going to get? Are we getting runs? Is it an under? What do you think the best way to approach it is?
I don't know. Like I'm not laying $2 on the team with the Braves. I think the best spot is, and I'll be watching this game closely. Schwellenbach, a player that I have interest in when it comes to, at least from a fantasy perspective. I don't know if he'll get to, I think his line's at 6.5 or 5.5, whatever state. But I think if the Braves fall down, I want to get them close to even money. Like I think that may be the bet. Like we don't want to lay money on a team that's at least struggling. Like Olsen and Riley specifically have not gotten it going on offense. So I will wait until they're close to even money and then maybe jump on board, but they're going to win this series. If it doesn't happen tonight, I will be on the Braves over the next 2 days to win the series versus the Marlins. Like it's go time.
I agree. 0-7. Time to kick it up a notch at home in front of the fans there. My big question, I asked George Kurtz last hour there, Tom, like who's got a better chance of scoring, the Cincinnati Reds or the New York Islanders? He didn't find that amusing at all as an Islander fan, but I think it's spot on and it's a legit question. I mean, how many more 1-0 games are you going to lose here, Cincinnati?
I was on Cincinnati yesterday and I was like, oh, listen, their offense is, they're moving. They have the pieces. Okay, it's baseball, 1-0, it happens. You're going up against the Brewers, who going into yesterday, they had a 5.28 xFIP as a pitching staff, as a team, which is dead last in the league. Nestor Cortez got shelled in that first game against the Yankees, and he looks like a Cy Young candidate versus the Reds. So, again, this is just part of like the natural variance of baseball where the Reds look good theoretically. The fact that they're giving up 3 runs over 3 games, that their offense can't do anything. So like that is going to flip at a certain point. And people that don't bet on baseball every single day, like you have to be aware of this. Like you're going to bet on Ohtani sometimes and he's going to go 0 for 4. It's going to happen. I will be on the Reds just as the same way I'll be on the Braves.
Yeah, I think they'll be good to go. They'll turn it around here. Again, some injuries all over the place here with the Brewers pitching staff here. Tyler Anderson, they're rolling him out there. The lefty could be a good night to get one back here for the Reds. I also think Tampa is live tonight as a dog here. I like the starting pitching matchup. I think Tampa is sneaky as a dog in this spot against Texas. What are you thinking?
Yeah, I really like Tampa tonight. Tyler Mahle pitching for Texas pitched 1.2 innings to start in his first start. He only pitched 12.2 innings last year because of an injury. The year before that, he pitched 25.2. The last full season he had was 2022. He has not looked the same. And we could look at his 2022 numbers. They were pretty good, but that's not the pitcher he is now after all of these injuries. So I like Brandon Lau for 2+ total bases. I found that at +140 at Fanatics. That is a great spot for him. Last year, he crushed righties. He consistently has a 220 ISO plus. He does strike out a lot. He has like a 25% strikeout rate versus righty. So he can swing and miss, but he has a ton of power. And I'm not trusting Mahle at least to start the season.
I'm with you here. I like what we've seen so far from this Tampa Bay team. And listen, there's not a whole lot to like about that Cleveland LA Angels pitching matchup tonight. This feels like a legit pitching matchup with Soriano going up against Williams. Don't trust either offense all that much. It feels like maybe an under here. I'm seeing 7.5. It was 8. What'd you think of this one?
I like the under, and I like the Guardians. And despite the fact what happened to start the season, like you run into this buzzsaw that is San Diego, They, great pitching, great offense. They're going to win the series, and I'm not going to be surprised if they sweep. So I'm going to be on the Guardians each and every day. Gavin Williams is a good pitcher. He's one of their young pitchers that has to step up with Shane Bieber out. Between him and Tanner Bybee, like, they have the pieces to get it done. They have the offense. Kyle Manzardo is off to a great start for them. Like, they have everything that you want. They have the power to get on base with Stephen Kwan. Like, they have everything you want. They've just got on the bad side of variance against the good Padres. So give me the Guardians.
Liking the Guardians. And what about Lugo versus Kremer here? Baltimore versus Kansas City. Runs, or pitching here?
All under, and it is going to be cold. It is going to be cold and rainy. It's like 40 degrees, wind blowing in at 10 to 15 miles per hour. Seth Lugo's a good pitcher. Creamer's okay, but they both don't allow hard contact, and they both don't allow fly balls. They're ground ball pitchers. Lugo's got a better strikeout rate, but we're not going to be seeing offense. I don't know who wins this game. It could legitimately be 2-1, maybe 3-1, 3-2, but whichever team wins today, I'll be on the other team because I think it's a coin flip, and we'll just get them near even money tomorrow.
I like where you're going with that. Yeah, keep an eye on that weather, too. It's going to be chilly here. Not that it was a heat wave in Baltimore over the weekend, but we got more to talk about. Major League Baseball, of course. We got a Final Four getting ready to take center stage tomorrow. Plenty of NBA. We'll break it all down for you as Game Time Decisions continues on the grid.
Enter into the magical world of McLuck.com, where even the smallest of spins can win real cash prizes. Adventure into over 1,000 of the best Vegas-style slot games. So what are you waiting for? Unlock your free welcome offer today. Join the fun where winners play and players win.
Two guys that can do it all.
Too much electricity this morning.
This is a good time. We're having a lot of fun.
I had to do a triple take. Ka-ching!
Why? Because of parity.
I didn't mean to offend.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Load management is a dirty word.
Let him rip.
You know what? Circumstances provide the results. What? How do you do this once? Oh, Donnie, you got such a good show there.
A network that is booming.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
Anyone that's been to a sporting event, the atmosphere before a game, I think Game Time Decisions has that same exact atmosphere. This is our arena. This is what we do. There is going to be an energy to Game Time Decisions that you will feel night in and night out. The excitement you get when you lock your bets in, when you're figuring out what you want to do, we can zone in on the biggest games each night. I want this to be the place that people come to before the games start so they feel as ready as possible to lock in their cards. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions to get that new information, react to it, and be able to then bet accordingly. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
Did you know sportsbooks tend to draw up tighter bet lines for events that get even more bettors, like championship games or major matchups? My tip? Try betting on less popular sports. You might have a better shot at beating those odds. Now, go get lucky. See you in Las Vegas. Let's get lucky.
All right, welcome back in Game Time Decisions here on this Friday. I'm Joe Raineri. Appreciate you stopping by as we've got a couple NBA games underway right now, getting ready for Boston, the Celtics and the Phoenix Suns to take center stage here in just a couple of minutes. In Major League Baseball, quick note, we were telling you earlier, laughing, watching this Colorado Rockies game, their first game at home against the Athletics, and it is snowing there, and people are dressed, well, like it's snowing in Colorado, but the great part is they're in the 11th inning here. Both teams have let double-digit runners in scoring position. I think Colorado 1 of 12 or 1 for 13 with runners in scoring position in this game. And it doesn't look like they're going to score anytime soon. So not only is it snowing and people are freezing, but they might have to actually play extra baseball. We'll keep you posted on what's happening there. I can assure you it is cold on the ice here tonight with only 3 games. But I know Joe Madden stepping in here. She's got some winners here. She'll make it all better, I promise here. And now let's start with Ovechkin because I think we all played his anytime goal. I think that was minus 140, 145. It's so risky, these $4 favorites, Joe, and but there's got to be a way to approach this game here to make it profitable, no?
Yeah, there absolutely is. And let's first isolate Ovechkin and what we're going to do with him. So if you want to take Ovechkin just for the anytime goal, it's close to that minus 150 mark, Joe, which I don't know about you, but that is out of the range I want to take, especially an anytime goal scorer here, even in Ovechkin, even though I think he can get it. But I do think you're better off looking at him for the 2+ goals, the 2+ goals coming in at plus 440. And then if he can get the Hattie, break the record here tonight versus Chicago, which we know is not going to provide that much defense here or goaltending resistance, that we could see the Hattie come into play. So that is coming in for the hat trick at plus 1900. Now, I do think you could look at him for the first goal for the Washington Capitals. That's going to give you a plus 420 mark. I would be cautious with the last goal of the game. And while we've seen him get those last goals in a lot of these opportunities, it's because they've been tighter games. I don't see Chicago keeping pace in this one. So for them to pull their goaltending and for Ovi to get that empty netter at plus 600, it's just not worth it for me because I do think the Washington Capitals win this in a 5-2 situation. So that takes me to the Capitals team total. I'm going to roll with their team total over 4.5. That is going to get you plus money here for the over 4.5 at plus 120. I do think also you look at who should be giving that assist to Ovi out there. If Ovi's getting the goal, more than likely the assist is coming from Dylan Strome. Most assist by anyone on this team to Ovi has been Dylan Strome. That's coming in at minus 130. He has 18 assists for Ovi of his 38 assists. And then Nick Dowd here, don't look past him because he has been really strong at getting the puck in the back of the net versus Chicago. 3 of the last 4 games he's done so. He's only got 13 goals on the season, but it's a nice sprinkle here at plus 650.
I like it. We did have, I believe they're just underway here with Carolina and Detroit. That's an interesting matchup, as is the one coming up with the Islanders and Minnesota. I mean, the Islanders have pretty much stuck a fork in their season, Joe, with this. It's just total turmoil in there. But it's not like we can run to the window and trust Minnesota. So start with Carolina and Detroit and tell me what you like in that Minnesota and Islander game as well.
Okay, so in this one here with Carolina and the Detroit Red Wings, I do think the Red Wings have every ability to get the win. We know Carolina has been inconsistent on the road. The Red Wings are fighting for so much here with their playoff hope still alive. Now, they've got a long way to go. They're 4 points behind Montreal, but still, it's only 4 points. So I do think we get the best effort out of them. I'm relying on Cam Talbot to have a fantastic game. 10 games versus the Carolina Hurricanes in his career. He's got a 2.17 goals against average and a 928 save percentage versus them. And I do think he can stand nice and tall between the pipes tonight and be able to help the Red Wings get the win. Now, I've got the Red Wings here in the first period. It is looking like it's still scoreless in this first period right now. You can jump in on the Red Wings for the full game at plus 122 on the money line, or at plus 106 for the first period. And I do think jumping in on that first period is where I want to go. Now, if we do see Carolina go up first, I automatically am going to be live betting the Red Wings plus 1.5. Right now it's too juiced. You can't get any value, but look for that if we do see Carolina scoring first. Because I think no matter what, Joe, this is a 1-goal game. I'm looking for the overtime bet. That's coming in at plus 360. I think it's a 3-2 win by the Red Wings. And then you said it, the Islanders put a fork in them. They are done, Joe. But the books don't think so in this game. They are the favorite at minus 126, which is crazy to think. This team has lost their last 6. Sorokin has fallen on his face over the last 4 games. That save percentage over the last 4 is at .853. He hasn't looked good out there, but I'm expecting that bounce back out of Sorokin in this game tonight. The Minnesota Wild have taken now the 2nd spot in that wild card standing, with the St. Louis Blues getting another win last night. Now they're only 2 points behind them with that game in hand, so they could get back in that position. But the problem is here, the Minnesota Wild aren't playing great hockey at all. I don't trust them here against a scrappy Islanders team that just got really called out by Patrick Roy after their last game. Now, Anthony Dunclair not hitting the ice tonight for the Islanders. And why? Well, because Patrick Roy really called him out. Now he's out for personal reasons. I think the Islanders can get this done. I'll take the first period under 1.5 goals as well.
Ooh, liking it under as we get ready for that one coming up bottom of the hour. But you said it, Joe. Still no score here coming up on the 12-minute mark there with Carolina and Detroit, and still no score in the first 5 minutes here with Chicago and Washington. But both those games sounds like we might have some in-game betting opportunities, so we'll keep you posted on that. Also, an update. The A's have finally scored in the top of the 11th. They're up 5-3, but it's still snowing. So we'll have more on that game for you as Joe comes back and we talk a little Final Four action. We've got you covered here on Game Time Decisions.
Here's a tip for my fellow golfers and gamers. Do you want to book a golf trip to Vegas? For the best weather, aim for spring and fall. But the best prices, aim for summer and winter. But if you're looking for that sweet spot, try June. You get the August prices without that scorching heat. See you in Las Vegas. Let's get lucky.
The 2 guys that can do it all.
Too much electricity this morning.
This is a good time. We're having a lot of fun.
I had to do a triple take. Ka-ching!
Why? Because of parity.
I didn't mean to offend.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Load management is a dirty word.
Let him rip.
You know what? Circumstances provide the results. What? How do you do this once? Oh, Donnie, you got such a good show there.
A network that is booming.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
These guys are barreling everything right now that are hitting well. Pitching is usually ahead of hitting this time of year, but torpedo bats is what we're reading about, Tom, and I think it's hilarious.
Will the pitching be out in front, or are the bats actually this strong? So it's going to develop over the course of weeks. And again, if all teams have the ability to do so, be creative with it and get out there and use it.
Game Time Decisions, only on SportsGrid. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
All right, welcome back in. Game Time Decisions here on the Sports Grid Network. We mentioned that we're going to keep an eye on the 3 games on the ice, 2 underway, because there might be a couple of betting opportunities in game. And Joe Madden back with us. And Joe, we blinked, and all of a sudden now you're telling me Detroit's got 2 goals on the board against Carolina. It's 2-0 already.
Yeah, and that's not the biggest thing, Joe. We've seen Ovi get that first goal, so hopefully some of you jumped on Ovi for the first goal for the Washington Capitals, because that was plus 420. So the Capitals up 1-0, and yeah, we're seeing the Detroit Red Wings. I don't even know how they were able to get 2 goals so quick, but we have seen those 2 goals out of them. They're now a minus 330 favorite in that matchup. So I wouldn't touch Carolina in this one. We're not able to get a better line for the Red Wings, so hopefully you guys got it before. But if you do like Carolina, 1 goal game still, plus 1.5.
That's the way to go. All right, I love it. Joe, let's talk some Final Four tomorrow here. As 4 number 1 seeds, the first game up is going to be the all SEC side of the bracket with Florida, 2.5-point favorite over Auburn. We saw the money come in on the under from the opening, just under, I think 159.5 right now. It's in San Antonio. It's not a basketball arena, but these 2 teams know each other well here, Joe. So how did you approach this game tomorrow?
Well, I'm a little worried about this total, Joe, because I do think this one has the opportunity of going to overtime. I think this is a tight battle to the very end of this game. And if I had to take a team here, it's got to be Florida. I look at this team and I think they're going to be able to win that rebounding issue. And I don't think Auburn's going to be able to slow down Walter Clayton here. Walter Clayton Jr., I'm going to take for over on his points. He's going to be able to hit those shots out there. And I think he is the difference maker for Florida. Now, I know Broom is so strong out here for Auburn, but I don't think he's at 100%. And I really do think Florida's going to find a way to shut him out down the middle. And if they're able to do so, we know he's their most consistent scorer there. And that's where Florida has been having these struggles. I do think this will be a live betting opportunity, though, going into this game with Florida being the favorite. I think Auburn will go on a run, and I'll be looking to come back in on Florida at that point, plus the points, because I do see it playing out that way, that Auburn gets off to a faster start.
Yeah, listen, it's I think there are going to be plenty of opportunities to get better numbers no matter who you like in that game once it gets going. But the winner of that game, of course, will have the right to play for a national championship and face the winner of that second game, which Houston and Duke. Boy, that you talk about a heavyweight fight there. We're also seeing 136.5 as a total. Some people think that's a little low for a Duke team. What are we thinking here in this one? A rematch, by the way, from that Sweet 16 game a year ago in which Duke upended Houston.
Well, you look at this, and we've got great defenses on both sides. There's no doubt that Houston does have the better defense, but Duke's defense has been superior as well. And then I think Houston offensively is a little underrated. So looking at this game, Joe, I expect it to start off a little bit slower. I'm going to take the first half under the 63.5, but I can't take the full game to the under because I do think that fouling will come into play. And at that point, I do think this game finishes with Duke winning it probably right on the number. I've got a 75-70 finish here for Duke getting the win. I look at Cooper Flagg and his point totals coming in, and I think it's going to be hard for him to reach that against Houston's defense because Duke has a lot of playmakers that can get it done. Not only do you have Knipple out there, but Tyrese Proctor coming out nice and strong. He's able to hit his threes. So what I'm going to do with Cooper Flagg is I'm going to look at his rebounds. He's so strong at winning that rebound battle. He can get over 8.5 rebounds. It's minus 140, but I think you can fire it up to 10 plus rebounds at plus 194, or the 2 made threes. That's coming in at plus 124. I'll take Proctor, though, for 3 plus threes at plus 104, and Knipple over 14.5 points. But you can't deny CJ Cryer out here for Houston. I do think he flies over his 15.5 points in this one, and over his 4 plus threes, Joe, it's coming in at plus 200.
So are you buying that it's going to be an SEC national champion, or do you think Duke or Houston has a shot at winning this over them?
It's Duke. It's Duke all day long. Duke's gonna get it done, Joe. So Duke at -115. Sign me up. I wish it had more value right now for those of you who didn't get it before.
Love it. All right, Joe. Always a pleasure. Thank you very much. By the way, still 2-0 Detroit over Carolina. We'll have much more, though, as Game Time Decisions continues on the grid.
Here's a tip for my fellow golfers and gamers. Do you want to book a golf trip to Vegas? For the best weather, aim for spring and fall. But the best prices, aim for summer and winter. But if you're looking for that sweet spot, try June. You get the August prices without that scorching heat. See you in Las Vegas. Let's get lucky.
The two guys that can do it all.
Too much electricity this morning.
This is a good time. We're having a lot of fun.
I had to do a triple take. Ka-ching!
Why? Because of parity.
I didn't mean to offend.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Load management is a dirty word.
Let him rip.
You know what? Circumstances provide the results. What? How do you do this once? Oh, Donnie, you got such a good show there.
A network that is booming.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
These guys are barreling everything right now that are hitting well. Pitching is usually ahead of hitting this time of year, but torpedo bats is what we're reading about, Tom, and I think it's hilarious.
Will the pitching be out in front, or are the bats actually this strong? So it's going to develop over the course of weeks. And again, if all teams have the ability to do so, be creative with it and get out there and use it.
Game Time Decisions, only on SportsGrid. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
All right, welcome back in Game Time Decisions here on the SportsGrid Network as we are off and running. Plenty going on here in Major League Baseballs. The Yankees just closed out the Pittsburgh Pirates 9-4. Devin Williams came in, worked the ninth. He's back from paternity leave. So the Yankees continuing to crush the ball. The other big game is the Phillies and Dodgers in a pitcher's battle. Still 1-0 Philadelphia in that game. And, of course, plenty of NBA action getting ready to tip off here, including the Oklahoma City Thunder and the Houston Rockets at the top of the hour. But let's not forget, we're a week out from the first major of the year. The Masters will be on everyone's mind here soon enough. But maybe we can cash a ticket before we get there with the Valero Texas Open. And the guy that's dishing out winners all year long here on the show, stepping in, Brady Cannon. Looking at that leaderboard right now, Brady. Harman, 12 under. I believe your boy Keith Mitchell is still on the course, last I had checked, but he's at 8 under. Sam Ryder, I think, was your opening round leader here, but Harman just making putts from everywhere. And I guess really at this point, the question is, can he hold on to it over Saturday and Sunday?
You know, you're right, Joe. That is absolutely the question. He is running so hot right now. I mean, this is a difficult golf course with some weather coming into play as well. We've got wind that is a factor, a little bit of moisture in the air, some thunderstorms expected overnight, this and that and the other. And Brian Harman has shot 2 straight rounds of 66. And that's what worries me. He's so red hot. He is number one in this field for strokes gained approach. He's number one for greens in regulation, and he's number two for strokes gained putting. So he's really striping it, and he's holing everything he looks at. For 2 days, that added up to a 4-shot lead at this point over Keith Mitchell. But I just don't know if you can sustain that. He has not been really in great form this year. This is the best we've seen all season from Brian Harman. So is that going to hold up for 4 days? I doubt it. And I certainly don't want to bet like 2-1 or plus 170 or something like that, when we still have 36 holes left to play. You mentioned Keith Mitchell. He's now at 7-1, and he's playing pretty darn well. He is 10th in this field for strokes gained off the tee, 13th on approach, 22nd for putting, which is really solid and not so good that you're worried that it's going to cool off that much. And then 58th in scrambling, which he can improve upon a little bit. So I think he's just fine. And not doing anything that's such an outlier where you think he's going to regress to the mean. And at 7-1, I don't think he's a bad play at this point.
Yeah, well, it's interesting, too, because, he shot 64 yesterday, right? And that's kind of what you were alluding to when we talked on Wednesday. You thought that, the way he drives the ball, this could be a good spot for him. I'm looking at the card now. He's got 5 bogeys and 5 birdies. And you know what? You got to love a guy grinding it out. I think he opened the round with a bogey, but he's been grinding his way around the golf course. And if he remains, 3 or 4 shots back here heading into the weekend, it feels like he's very much alive for this one.
Yeah, I like him. Couple of Georgia Bulldogs going at it, by the way, and Brian Harman and Keith Mitchell. And Mitchell has been playing well. Like I say, it has not been a great campaign so far in 2025 for Brian Harman, but Mitchell comes off of an 18th place finish, a top 20 last week in Houston. Harman is already in the Masters, and obviously he wants to continue playing well and get another win. He's in the thick of it now, so there's no sense in, thinking about next week at this point. For Mitchell, he's definitely thinking about next week because he's not yet in the field for Augusta. So he will really be looking to get a win and get in here in San Antonio. But yeah, I like the way his game is going a lot more so right now than Harman, because Harman is so good. You feel like he's going to come back to the pack a little bit. He's not going to maintain where he is right now, I don't feel, for the next couple of days. Again, with more weather expected. Some moisture overnight, which will keep the golf course softer and a little bit more gettable. But wind, we're expecting, 15, 20 plus miles an hour. And I think you got a ton of golf left. There's a lot of people still in this tournament.
Yeah, just 3 bogeys in 36 holes for Harman. And again, making some putts and some shots all over this place. But if he does come back to the pack a little bit, and I think inevitably he will. I'm looking down the board here. I see names like Daniel Berger hanging around there at 6 under here. Matt Wallace was another guy that some folks thought might be able to make a run here. But Berger is interesting, and we talk about him all the time. If he comes back here, Harman, it's gonna bring a lot of guys at that 6 under or better into play here.
I think Daniel Berger makes a bunch of sense for this golf course. He's really accurate off the tee. Now, his game has been a little bit shaky. Right now, he ranks 68th in strokes gained off the tee and 40th for scrambling. But if he can improve off the tee, which you think he'd be able to, he's that type of player, he ought to be in the mix. Now, the problem is you're going to probably pay a little bit of a premium for him because he's a bigger name. You're not going to get the greatest price. I think last time I saw was 18-1, which feels a little bit expensive. You mentioned Matt Wallace, though. Wallace is a stroke better than Daniel Berger at 7 under par. And I like the way he's going. You're getting 22-1 the last time I checked on Wallace. 23rd off the tee, 22nd on approach, 16th on scrambling. And Matt Wallace, who is traditionally a pretty darn good putter, right now ranking 55th in this field for strokes gained putting. So if his putter just improves a little bit, I'm with you. I think Wallace is a solid play from here on out going into the weekend. And then another guy, if you want to go even deeper, this is a guy on Gabe's show that, out of left field, Gabe threw out this name. And I said, yeah, it's not a bad shot. Harry Hall, the UNLV Rebel, he's at 6 under par, 5th in this field for strokes gained approach right now, 30th off the tee, 7th in greens and regulation, 16th in scrambling. And this guy's a really good putter, and he ranks 65th in the field. So you would expect his putting's going to improve. You can get him in the neighborhood of 50-1 right now. Wallace, Mitchell, and Hall would be 3 guys I would look at to get involved in the outright market at this point.
All right, now let's talk about the tour everyone should be watching right now. Down the road for me here, Brady, the Live Tour is playing at Doral. And can I look at the names at the top of this leaderboard, Brady? We got a few major winners up at the top of the board here. Compare this field and the names I'm about to throw out to what we were just talking about. Patrick Reed, Dustin Johnson, Bryson DeChambeau, Phil Mickelson, Schwartzel, Sergio Garcia. My goodness, what is going on in Miami?
Is that the Champions Dinner at Augusta National?
Yeah,
Are they already,
you.
I mean, that's
like,
nothing
what
but
is
Masters
this?
winners right there. And how about Fat Pat? I actually put a couple bucks on Patrick Reed last night because I was doing some research. I'm looking at this Masters, have been for the last couple of months. This guy has done really, really well ever since he won at the Masters. He's never fallen off. And I think it was last year he finished 12th. He's had a couple of top 10s since he won it. And here he is, a place at Doral where he's won before on the PGA Tour. I grabbed a little piece of Patrick Reed at 115-1 to win the Masters. And I saw him out to this lead early today at Doral. And I looked at both the Westgate Superbook and Circa. They've already moved him $20. He's down to 80-1 at the Superbook and down to 95-1 at Circa. So they're taking notice of this guy as well. I don't think he's a bad long bomb to be in the mix. Certainly a top 20 or something like that next week in Georgia.
I love it too. And by the way, 5 under leading the tour, and that includes putting one in the drink on the 9th hole, the par 3.
Right.
So unbelievable. Brady, should be a fun weekend, my man. We'll see you again as Game Time Decisions continues on the grid.
Here's a tip for my fellow golfers and gamers. Do you want to book a golf trip to Vegas? For the best weather, aim for spring and fall. But the best prices, aim for summer and winter. But if you're looking for that sweet spot, try June. You get the August prices without that scorching heat. See you in Las Vegas. Let's get lucky.
The 2 guys that can do it all.
Too much electricity this morning.
This is a good time. We're having a lot of fun.
I had to do a triple take. Ka-ching!
Why? Because of parity.
I didn't mean to offend.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Load management is a dirty word.
Let him rip.
You know what? Circumstances provide the results. What? How do you do this one? Oh, Donnie, you got such a good show there.
A network that is booming.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
These guys are barreling everything right now that are hitting well. Pitching is usually ahead of hitting this time of year, but torpedo bats is what we're reading about, Tom, and I think it's hilarious.
Will the pitching be out in front, or are the bats actually this strong? So it's going to develop over the course of weeks. And again, if all teams have the ability to do so, be creative with it and get out there and use it.
Game Time Decisions, only on SportsGrid. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
All right, welcome back in Game Time Decisions here on this Friday. Can you believe it here, April the 4th? And we are off and running across the board here tonight. We've got the first half of the women's side of the Final Four underway right now with South Carolina and Texas. The winner there will advance to play the winner of UConn and UCLA, which will come up afterwards, and that will be for your national championship. On the women's side, we've got about a half a dozen NBA games underway, some Major League Baseball games, including quite the pitchers battle going on right now in Philly as they are up 1-0 on the Dodgers. Luzardo for the Phillies, Yamamoto for the Dodgers, and there is no doubt who Dave Sherapan liked ahead of this game. I will give you folks at home, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, I'll give you 3 guesses as to who Dave might actually be interested in this game. But we're no hints. We're not going to say anything. We'll see if they can guess it, Dave. But it's a pleasure to see you here, my man. Are you ready for some Major League Baseball each and every day of the week and weekends again? It's good to have it back, isn't it?
It's the best. Yeah, it's great to see you, Joe. Yeah, baseball season. A lot of people run from it in the book, although they love it this first week, and they go after this first week, they're like, yeah, I don't really want to bet baseball. I'm gonna focus on the NBA playoffs, or I'm gonna focus on the NHL playoffs, which is fine. You got college basketball. This is the last hurrah. This is the last, weekend for that. We got the 2 big games tomorrow, the men's games, the 2 women's games tonight. And then we'll, settle it all Sunday and Monday. So that'll be good. But I love the baseball. I love the daily, the chase, the grind, the in-game stuff is fabulous. This might be an NLCS preview tonight. Now, all of that being said, I hope it goes under. Yeah, I hope it is a pitcher's duel. I hope it stays that way. It's going to be a good series all weekend. We're going to talk about it later here on In-Game Live. Game day with me and Wetzel. I like to look at the series and see the pitching matchup. Right. So hopefully the Phillies get this first one tonight, and then if I pop on a show tomorrow, it might be in Dodgers gear. But I got all the hats and I got all the gear, so I love baseball season.
In game 5.5 right now is the total, plus 130, 135 for the Dodgers. So it is only 1-0 in that matchup, but actually a pretty good pitcher's duel going on right now. Not so much with Atlanta here, Dave. I'm laughing because they still haven't scored. We're in the top of the 3rd. The good news is Miami hasn't scored either, but Atlanta at some point, I was thinking Atlanta come out and be 6-0 already or something along those lines, but it's not happening for Atlanta right now, but their first home game, eventually they're going to win one, right, Dave?
Yeah, for a team that hasn't won a game yet, in game right now is minus 300. All right. I mean, and that's hard to believe. Okay.
Yep.
So you'll see, that the in-game numbers are gonna be all over the place, during a game. That is surprising. The total's down to 5.5. I don't know what's going on in Atlanta. They need a win bad. What if you're Cincinnati though tonight? Cincinnati, 3 days in a row, lose a game 1-0. They haven't scored since Tuesday. That used to be like a saying, but it's true. They haven't scored. They haven't scored since Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. That's right. So it's been a long week for them. They're going to Milwaukee again tonight. Another one that, it was a big sweat yesterday to take the Brewers, but I think you take the Brewers again today in that one. And then the only other game that's starting late out on the West Coast, because the West Coast is where it's at right now with the baseball, between the Padres and the Dodgers, and the Giants are playing good. Diamondbacks have a winning record. The Guardians are at the Angels. Joe, that's a bettors type game. I mean, what the hell do you do with that game? That literally is a pick 'em. Total 7.5. Yeah, 7.5 is a couple weights. What do you think? I really don't know.
If you're going to bet the Angels, you got to bet them early before Trout gets hurt. So as long as you have him in the lineup and he's available, Dave, you might as well take a shot with him. But I love the pitchers, the pitching matchup here. I think I got under 4 in the first 5 here. I don't trust either lineup, but Soriano is a absolute monster, and Williams. Let's face it, his K prop might be worth a look too here. It's kind of a pick 'em price, but it feels like a pretty good pitcher's battle, at least early on in this game anyway.
And a couple maybe offensively challenged early lineups as well. So probably a lean to the under, which always kind of, if I have it aside before the game, you look to take the home team, and lean towards that under. So, yeah, we'll see. I don't want to wish injury upon anybody this early. And, Trout did hit a home run. So he does have one. So that's good.
Yes.
And, we'll keep him.
And he didn't pull anything running around the bases, which is also important. So you never know with him.
Devers got another hit today for Boston.
Yep.
Things are coming around, all this stuff. You can't.
How'd your Pirates do today? I didn't see anything.
Segment without saying nothing.
No, I'm
trying to get through the
I'm
whole
asking.
segment.
No,
that's
what
fine.
happened with that? Who did they play?
They got smoked. They got smoked. Is it final?
Yes.
It is final. It's 9-4.
Yeah. It was.
Bubba Chandler didn't pitch. Keller pitched. It wasn't good. The Yankees show up in the Pittsburgh home opener. Home opener for a lot of teams today. This wasn't a good one for the Pirates. I was hoping they got a better competitive game out of them today. They did not.
What's worse though, Dave? Be honest.
Showed up.
What would be worse?
They showed up wearing
being in
Skeens
Pittsburgh.
jerseys
Wait a minute.
In Yankee
being in
jerseys.
Pittsburgh and watching the Yankees smack your team around, or being in Colorado in 18 degrees with snow to the left, and watching the A's win in 11 innings. I can't. What's worse?
That's worse
than that.
That's worse. That's worse.
That's absolutely worse.
I tell you right in the face.
Absolutely. I can't even feel my fingers watching it. You got to be kidding me.
Here's a tip for my fellow golfers and gamers. Do you want to book a golf trip to Vegas? For the best weather, aim for spring and fall. But the best prices, aim for summer and winter. But if you're looking for that sweet spot, try June. You get the August prices without that scorching heat. See you in Las Vegas. Let's get lucky.
The two guys that can do it all.
Too much electricity this morning.
This is a good time. We're having a lot of fun.
I had to do a triple take. Ka-ching!
Why? Because of parity.
I didn't mean to offend.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Load management is a dirty word.
Let him rip.
You know what? Circumstances provide the results. What? How do you do this one? Oh, Donnie, you got such a good show there.
A network that is booming.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
These guys are barreling everything right now that are hitting well. Pitching is usually ahead of hitting this time of year, but torpedo bats is what we're reading about, Tom, and I think it's hilarious.
Will the pitching be out in front, or are the bats actually this strong? So it's going to develop over the course of weeks. And again, if all teams have the ability to do so, be creative with it and get out there and use it.
Game Time Decisions, only on SportsGrid. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
All right, welcome back in as we look to close out this edition here of Game Time Decisions, but have no fear, much more still to come here on the SportsGrid Network, including little in-game live coming up here in just a couple of minutes. Dave Sharapan will be there, Scotty Wetzel will be there, and they'll have you covered over the next few hours with all that is going on in the sports landscape, and that includes another Corbin Carroll home run for the Arizona Diamondbacks, now putting them up 4-3 over the Washington Nationals. That game in the top of the fifth inning. NBA action, by the way, tonight underway. Maybe the biggest possible upset of the night, maybe this year, in fact, is the Indiana Pacers at home, who were laying 17, I believe. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was 17 against the Utah Jazz. The problem is nobody told the Utah Jazz they weren't supposed to show up and play, because they are winning by 11 right now with about 4 minutes to go in the half. 55-44 is what we've got going on. The Utah Jazz on top of the Pacers. And again, the Pacers closed as a 17.5 point favorite in that game. And now you can get Indiana laying 4.5. So if you didn't want to bet Indiana, but you like them to win the game, now would be a pretty good time to jump in and lay that 4.5. They are down 11. And as we speak, that is something that I am going to have to partake in, because we all know Utah is not going to run away with this game in Indiana here. Also, Boston 23-18 right now on top of the Phoenix Suns. No Kevin Durant, but there is a Bradley Beal sighting. Can you believe that? Phoenix still trying to make it into the play-in situation there in the playoffs, but they're going to have a big effort here tonight on the road against the Boston Celtics. Detroit on top, by the way, of Toronto. Second of a back-to-back for Toronto. 20-12 in that one early on. In just a couple of minutes, one of the games of the night, really, which looks to be maybe a peek into what we're going to get, a possible Western Conference championship, as the Houston Rockets at home taking on the Oklahoma City Thunder. Oklahoma City opened up as a 5.5 point favorite, and that's still where we're at, 5.5 points. The total has been bet down a little bit, opened up at 228.5, and I am seeing 227.5 right now. So that should be a good one. And again, Scotty Wetzel there, Dave Sharapan, in-game live coming up here in just a couple of minutes. They will have you covered on all of that, not to mention a little late night action with Golden State at home, who just took down the Lakers on the road last night. Now they come home and they welcome in the Denver Nuggets. Still no word on whether Jimmy Butler is a go or not a go. When it broke that he was questionable, and he had heard it look like his forearm in that game against the Lakers in the second quarter last night. He did return to that game, obviously. It'll be interesting to see here, because Golden State still wants to rack up the wins here and possibly try and catch a team like Indiana and give themselves an opportunity for maybe a home series. But they got some work to do tonight against the Denver Nuggets, who are now just a slight favorite in that one at 1.5. You'll have, of course, late night Clippers as well as Laker action here tonight, as the Lakers looking to bounce back. They are laying 15 now against the New Orleans Pelicans, who have pretty much, rested and sat everybody on the roster there. You won't see any names you find familiar at all. And the Clippers now laying 10.5 against the Dallas Mavericks. And I would venture to say Anthony Davis might be going in this game, but keep an eye on who's playing and who's not playing there, is there's still plenty of basketball to go around here tonight. And the Final Four on the women's side tonight, they are almost at the break. I think they are at the break now. South Carolina 38, Texas 35 right now as they head into the break. My goodness, that should be a great second half. UConn and UCLA will be the game after. And like I mentioned, in-game live coming up next. Scott Wetzel, Dave Sheriffan. Enjoy the games. We'll see you again on Game Time Decisions.